City of Cape Town is planning to abandon its controversial urban baboon management program in July next year. And we do have the City of Cape Town's Deputy Mayor, Eddie Andrews, for more on this. Thanks once again for joining us this afternoon. I think maybe we can pick up on your point where you said that this program has been largely successful.
Yes, apologies. That was the point that I made. I'm not sure where I was cut off, but it has been largely successful. We've been able to keep the baboons out of the residential areas up to 95% of the time, and the program has not necessarily been abandoned. I think it will definitely continue up until the end of the next financial year, which concludes 1 June 2023. What has triggered quite a few media queries was the fact that we're now embarking on a public participation process where we are asking all stakeholders to give their input in how do we move forward with the program in a sustainable manner. There have been different schools of thought in terms of the methodologies used currently, and we're really just trying to get put our best foot forward and ensure that we manage the program in a sustainable manner.
This public participation program, did it happen before the program was rolled out? According to at least one councillor in the area, in a letter addressed to residents, saying it's been made clear to us that the baboon management is not the mandate of the city and no further resources will be assigned to it.
Yeah, I'm aware of the note that the councillor has sent to his constituents, and I think the mandate particular issue is a very important one. We believe that the protection of our animal rights, those rights should be protected, and we should do whatever we can as government, as a collective. And as a City of Cape Town, we've had legal challenges with regards to what is our specific mandate, and our mandate that we know to be the safe enjoyment of our public open spaces, how we manage our waste, our fencing and fences, and how we, urban planning department. Those are all competencies of local government. So the program currently, we're not responsible to treat injured or sick wild animals. The management of national parks, it's not our responsibility. And hunting and collaring and capturing and relocation and the euthanasia of wild animals, it's also not our competency. It would be the competency of national and provincial government. So we are really looking, and hence this participation process, which will commence as soon as the portfolio committee at its May meeting, the 5th of May. This report will be on the agenda of the portfolio committee. They will then look at the public participation program, where we will, over a 2-month, an extensive consultative process, a 2-month engage with every ward, every councillor, sub-council, ward committee, but more importantly, structured stakeholder groupings to understand how best to move forward in a sustainable manner. And to do the sustainable pursuit and the manner how we want to pursue this program would link to our solid waste colleagues. Should we, in our areas where where we have baboon issues in the urban spaces, should we have a different design of our dirt bin when that it remains locked until the truck collects it? With regards to our electricity department, what should they do to ensure that the infrastructure there are baboon-proof? And also, most importantly, to do the land that is owned and managed by sand parks. How do we work collaboratively with them, with the land that they own? Because we can't operate on private land as a municipality. But how do they ensure that when the baboons, because they have to cross over their land to get into our urban spaces, what should they be doing, and how are we able to help them? And so those are the conversations that we're really keen to further explore in our participatory plan that is, after the portfolio committee resolves on it, hopefully will commence immediately thereafter.
According to reports, one K. Montgomery, who is cited as being the city's public relations official, said the baboon management program had failed.
Well, again, it just shows how complex this conversation is. There are different schools of thought. Ms. Montgomery is not an official in the City of Cape Town. Ms. Montgomery is a part of the team, the service providers that would help with our wildlife and the management thereof as well. And that would particularly be her view. And I think also, if you look at what has been, I think if you look at the entire recording of that engagement, in 2021, the National Council of SPCA, they withdrew their support for us to use paintball marking as a humane aversion technique And so we've been unable to use that. And so hence I mentioned up to 95%, but that percentage has dropped drastically over the past year because we're unable to use paintball marking as a deterrent. And we, of course, as a city have been arguing that is a lot more humane methodology that we should be using, because when the community takes matters into their own hand, it's not a paintball, a bullet that will be directed towards a baboon. It could be a firearm, and there could be fatalities. And so that's what we're trying to prevent, and not just a firearm being used. It could be literally physically assaulting a baboon, and there could be a fatality as a consequence. It could be where baboons, after they've crossed over a privately owned land by sand parks and they come into our urban spaces, that they're knocked over by a vehicle. And so I think that is why some people have a view on the program that it is failed, because the program, by its very design, the paintball marking is an important attribute to as an aversion technique.
So there are allegations that this cost a cool 100 million rand, and that was then the bill was footed by taxpayers, some of whom have bemoaned this, saying that they did not give you a public mandate. And I guess maybe the question is, how much did this program cost you over the period of 12 years?
I don't have the exact figures in front of me today, but I can confirm that the program in the current financial year would cost about just over 13 million rand. If you look at, I don't know what it cost when it started out in the late 90s, collectively what that cost would be in total. And that could be also one concern that has been picked up in terms of the actual cost of it. And hence we have to look at this participatory program. How do we further empower residents to baboon-proof their homes? We've done a survey with residents that have been directly impacted by baboons infiltrate their homes. And we asked them, are you aware of baboon-proof techniques or technologies available or infrastructure available? And the answer is no. Something as basic as what is working very well in the Turkey, Cape Town area, where the Swanswyk residents have put up an electric fence that would now it's that one big infrastructure investment has completely stopped the baboons coming across over into the urban areas. And also how you dispose of your waste, and should you leave your waste, your recyclables in the back of your property, and the baboons, of course, there's no electric fence, so they would have access to your property, then they have food to eat as well. Also feeding your own animals, your dog, your cats, or even bird feed as well. If you have baboons in your neighborhood or in the mountainous areas, the rear of your property, the baboons will come and they will help themselves to whatever feed you have put out for your animals. And so we're really trying to educate our residents and to capacitate them to understand what is it that they can also do to prevent, to ensure their property is baboon-proof. I spoke earlier about solid wastes in terms of what they are doing now. And as a matter of fact, we've just gone out on tender. We will have what we call a baboon-proof bin that no one can actually open. It's only when you load the bin onto the truck, then of course the lid would open and you can dispose of your waste there. But those are sort of basic steps that we really want to inform and educate our residents that what they could do to assist us. And hence I made the remark earlier on, in a sustainable manner. It could be how we plan as the city of Cape Town. It could be our solid waste colleagues. It could be sand parks who own the land, the mountainous areas before they get into our urban areas. It could be the actual private homeowner as well.
Mr. Andrews, I do beg your pardon. I'm so sorry to disrupt you there, but unfortunately that's all we can afford in terms of time, but point well made. Thank you very much. Eddie Andrews, City of Cape Town Deputy Mayor, speaking to us about the baboon management program. More news for you when we return.